Okay, I'm here in Mirpur today for my 30th Civil Society Forum, which will be taking place in about an hour's time at Kashmir Press Club, which is just a couple of blocks away. But I have here sitting with me Malik Majid Saab, who has been the Chief Justice of the AJK High Court and is most notable for his decision on the northern areas as they were known at that time. And because the forum that I'm doing today and the forums that I've been doing for the past few weeks has been concentrating on the election process and also on about what sort of benefit accrues to the public in terms of the election process. I mean, is it a genuine democracy or not? So I put three conditions, if you like, or I put a scenario where if these three things were to be implemented, perhaps we could have greater accountability. And I mentioned about a genuine constitution. I mentioned about having a viable economic policy, something which has never arisen since 1947 until now. And thirdly, about modernizing the administration or the administrative structure. Janab. Nahi, aap baat karein, you're in the camera. Yeah.
Thank you. So far as your question of framing of constitution is concerned, I personally believe that we had a constitution in the state. It was called Constitution of 1934.
Okay.
Which empowered the people to give them right of vote and then to hold elections for the assembly, Jammu Kashmir Assembly.
Yeah.
It was called Parja Sabha at that time.
Sure.
And a high court was also established in Jammu and Kashmir state to give right of appeal to the people.
Right.
So we should have adopted that constitution right in 1947 because we believe that we are successor to the previous government of the state of Jammu and Kashmir. And we always pose to the people and we claim that we hold this government as a government of the entire state of Jammu and Kashmir. But unfortunately at that time nobody thought about it that we should adopt the constitution and make amendments as required according to times and adjust it according to our own requirements.
Right.
Then we had
So there was no evolution.
In fact, there was no evolution. There was actually, it was a, you can say that we totally stopped or blocked at that stage and we started a new thing.
Right.
And new thing, again, we failed to give right of vote to the people of Azad Jammu Kashmir and Gilgit-Baltistan. And it was 1960 when Mr. K. Khurshid first time, he realized that we are far behind. We are asking the whole world to give us right of self-determination, whereas we have denied our own people their fundamental rights.
Right.
And right to elect their own people and to have their own elected assembly, legislative assembly. So he first time gave right of vote to people in 1960, and there was elections of the president, office of the president. Then there were elections of the Jammu Kashmir Legislative Council,
right,
representing the refugees settled in Pakistan and the people of Azad Jammu Kashmir. Again, there was one, you see, Lakona, that people of Gilgit and Baltistan, they were left out of it.
Right.
Scope. They should have been brought within the scope of that constitution, you see. Then after the departure
Sorry, did K. Khurshid Sahab make any effort towards that?
Yes, Mr. K. Khurshid, he approached the government of Pakistan and he told them that since in 1947, the people of Gilgit and Baltistan, they were part and parcel of Azad Kashmir and they were governed by the Azad Kashmir government.
Right.
In fact, they were separated by virtue of an arrangement which is called a treaty of April 28, 1949, after
Yes.
the ceasefire.
The Karachi Agreement.
Yes, Karachi Agreement.
Yeah.
And by virtue of that, people of Gilgit and Baltistan, they were taken out of the ambit and control and administrative control of Azad Kashmir.
Right.
So Mr. K. Khurshid tried his best. He also tried that this Azad Kashmir government should be declared as successor government to the previous government of the state.
Right.
And it should have entire control of the liberation movement in its own hand.
Right.
And it should represent the liberation movement in the Security Council as well.
Okay.
But of course it was opposed by our own people, Muslim Conference and other peoples who were protege of Wazarate Umur Kashmir, Ministry of Kashmir Affairs.
Right.
Because they believed that Ministry of Kashmir Affairs, by serving them, they would be a better place in power in Azad Kashmir, and they were successful ultimately.
Right.
Mr. Khurshid resigned in 1964. And then again...
So, I mean, would it be fair to say that personal interest kind of took over national interest?
Of course, personal interest you see prevailed over the national interest.
Right. Okay.
And the leadership, the so-called leadership, which claimed that it is a champion of the liberation movement, they were actually responsible for withholding the people of Azad Kashmir and bringing a big name. Sorry, I would say that a bad name to the liberation movement as well.
Right.
They collected money from people in the name of jihad and liberation movement and everything, but they did nothing except giving statements in the press.
Yes.
And raising slogans, Kashmir banega Pakistan. How Kashmir could become Pakistan unless there was a plebiscite in the state?
Sure.
When your resolution was not implemented by holding plebiscite, Kashmir could not become Pakistan.
Right.
Kashmir could not become India even. So actually people were, you see, cheated. People of this area and people of the other side both were cheated by their leadership.
Okay.
On one hand, leadership went into the lap of India. On the other hand, the leadership went to the lap of Pakistan.
Right.
But on Indian side, they had a, you see, legislative assembly. They adopted the same old constitution and then they made improvements on that.
Right.
But ultimately, in 1957, when Bakshi Ghulam Muhammad was in power, that constitution was modified to the extent of the office of president and office of prime minister and chief election commissioner and office of the Supreme Court. Supreme Court
Right.
of India was given more, you see, this
Power. So basically, gradually things were diluted into the Indian constitution, if you like.
Yes.
Yeah. The other two things I mentioned about the economic policy and about modernizing the administration.
No, I'm coming to those second points.
Yeah.
You see, in fact, again in 1969, we started a movement in Azad Kashmir for having a legislative assembly, and ultimately we had it in 1970.
Right.
But that again, this assembly, you see, when it was elected, it had all the powers except defense, foreign affairs, and communication.
Right.
But the government was mishandled, you see. It was not properly administered. So the result was that people were crying against the government, and Mr. Zulfikar Ali Bhutto in 1974, he modified this Azad Kashmir Constitutional Act, and he created a new institution which is called Jammu Kashmir Council.
Right.
And he took all the powers which were being exercised by the government, and those powers were transferred to the Jammu Kashmir Council.
Sure.
Today, people are crying that those powers should be restored to Azad Kashmir government. But at that time, they became party to it.
Right.
So this is the position. Today, the first point is that we must have a constitution, you see.
Right.
And constitution we can have only when we hold election for the Constituent Assembly.
Right.
Constituent Assembly alone can frame a constitution. When we claim that we represent the whole Jammu and Kashmir state, then we must have a constitution which should have its application to the entire state.
Right.
Irrespective of the fact that there is a line of control between two powers and there are two armies sitting here. But in constitution, we can evolve a constitution of the free country. There is no harm in it.
Right.
Number two, we must have economic policy, you see. Unfortunately, our economic policy, you can imagine that whatever the sources of earning are, whatever the income is, which is derived, collected from Azad Kashmir, that goes to the Jammu Kashmir Council.
Yes.
And then Jammu Kashmir Council, you see, gives that money back to the Azad Kashmir government as a grant.
Right.
This is a mockery.
Right. Okay.
This whole earning should be collected by the Azad Kashmir government itself.
Sure.
And it should be...
I mean, just to clarify, it gives back a portion of that.
Yes.
A portion of
only
that.
a portion of that.
Yeah. And I think another thing that's important to mention is that most goods that we buy here in AJK, the tax, the sales tax, etc., the AJK government has nothing to do with that. That sales
AJK
tax goes
government
to...
has nothing to do. All
Yeah.
imported things which are sold in Azad Jammu and Kashmir, duty is charged in Karachi. You see.
Yes.
And that money is not shared by the Azad Kashmir government.
Sure.
Moreover, you see, our major source is Mangala Dam.
Yeah.
It is under the Constitution of Pakistan, under Article 161(2), that wherever the powerhouse is, wherever the electricity or power is generated, the income of that powerhouse should go to that area.
Sure.
As they are giving this income of Tarbela Dam to the government of Pakhtunkhwa,
Sure.
Khyber province.
Yeah.
So this money should come to Azad Kashmir. But Azad Kashmir government or leadership does not claim that money. And Pakistan government does not share that money.
Sure.
This is another, you see, drawback, and you can say handicap. In the leadership is so timid. Actually,
Yes.
they are coterie of Islamabad, and they always believe that they must please people in Islamabad, otherwise they shall be out of power.
Yes.
Now you coming to the election, you see.
Yeah.
Election in Azad Kashmir is totally a hoax.
Yes.
You see, administration fully involves itself in the elections. First of all, you see this voters lists are so poorly managed, arranged. Then there are many mistakes. Their particulars are also not properly not maintained. Then during elections, there are a lot of rigging. There are a
Yes.
lot of complaints. during the last election, Sultan Mahmood, you see, the now president of People Party, then he contested elections, then he issued a white paper.
Yeah.
And he alleged that all the elections of Azad Kashmir were rigged.
Right.
And today, you see, now he's in People Party, now he's claiming that election should be held very soon. without even, he's not waiting for the due time of elections.
Sure, sure.
So why? Because People Party is empowered in Pakistan.
Sure.
So he wants to use the machinery of People Party of Pakistan into Azad Kashmir.
So he wants to capitalize on that.
Yes, he wants
Right.
to capitalize.
Okay. Another thing I suppose is that the last population survey in AJK was done in '98. Yeah.
Now, 12 years earlier. You see.
Yeah, yeah. And I also understand that apart from the province of Punjab, in all other places where Pakistan has de facto control, those surveys or censuses that are done are marked in pencil. Yeah. I mean, I don't know whether that's an allegation or there's some substance to that. But anyway, it's something which is widely believed.
Well, I have not seen that marking with pencil, you see, but this suggests, if at all it is correct,
Yeah.
this suggests that Pakistan does not consider those areas as part of Pakistan.
Sure.
When you mark an area in this
Pencil.
census report by pencil,
Yeah.
it means you are doubtful about that it is not legitimate part of Pakistan.
Right. Okay. Sure.
That is point number one.
Sure.
But point number two is in Azad Kashmir, you see, we are very backward people. We still believe in, you see, tribalism and
Sure.
this territorial, you see, limits, and we talk about hegemony of the tribes, hegemony of the tribal leadership. So how you are going to succeed that this area should become a democratic area?
Sure.
Otherwise, you see, unless educated people, you see, who are lawyers and who are professors and who are business class, they always talk of their brotherly, their tribe, that we have got this much strength, our brotherly, and we are going to succeed in elections.
Yes.
This election propaganda is entirely based on the strength of the tribes.
Sure.
So you can imagine that how there's a chance of a fair person who has got merit to be elected, a person who knows everything, how the government should be administered, how the government should evolve its policy, economic policy, development policy, and all those policies which take a nation ahead of it,
Sure.
which are very essential for the progress of a nation and development of an area.
Yeah.
So we don't have those people in the Azad Kashmir Assembly and in the cabinet. The Prime Minister, you can know very well that he is the first Prime Minister who, after becoming first time Prime Minister, the first thing he did was that he secured a unanimous resolution in favor of Mrs. Zardari, who is President of Pakistan.
Right.
What was need of that?
Yeah.
Except this, that he was trying to please him,
A vote of thanks.
that I am faithful to you,
Yeah.
therefore please don't shift me. But the
Right.
result was that 2 months thereafter, he was removed. There was no vote of no confidence against him,
Sure.
and he was removed from the office of Prime Ministership. And then he was making speeches against Mrs. Zardari.
Sure.
And today again, you see, he bargained with the same party, and
Yes.
now he's in the office of the Prime
He's
Minister.
back in power.
So this is
Yeah,
the
sure,
position.
sure. The final thing I want to say is that it appears that the issue you mentioned about tribes and about things alluding to corruption and what have you, and about politicians taking advantage or capitalizing on how things are or who's in power in Pakistan, etc., etc. It seems to be a great lack of awareness and a lack of capacity to actually change things. So, in my own efforts that I've been doing since April 2005, I have tried to try and garner these resources from within indigenously, but that hasn't been possible. So, just like the world is globalizing and things are becoming transparent the world over, so because we're interconnected now as well through communications technology, so we have no option but to be transparent as the future comes. So, dealing with the international community and using their technical help and resources to try and bring change here, I don't see any other alternative. I don't know if you want to make a comment on that.
Yes, I think before answering your question, I would suggest you two things.
Sure.
Because when we criticize that something is defective, something is wrong, then we have to suggest that how improvement should be made.
Right.
The first suggestion is that the election commission, you see, of Azad Kashmir
Yeah.
should become powerful.
Right.
It should have its own authority, over the finances, because it should not be dependent on the government administration. It should not beg every time that he needs certain couple of chairs and couple of tables and couple of carpets for his staff, and
Sure.
he wants office for the staff. He should be vested with all the powers,
Yes.
and he should become completely independent. He should not look up towards the government for anything.
Sure.
Once we have independent chief, the office of the election commissioner, you see,
Yeah.
and we bring a man of merit who is very daring, very bold, capable to hold fair elections, only then we can have a fair election, Azad Kashmir, number one.
Right.
Number one, there should be accountability, you see.
Yeah.
The accountability should be at all levels, you see. There is no accountability in Azad Kashmir. Today I tell you that there is a law in Azad Kashmir that once a person, member of the assembly, he crosses the floor, he stands disqualified.
Sure.
The law is there.
Yeah.
But you can imagine that this assembly floor was crossed 4 times. 4 prime ministers were elected by
Sure.
the same members of the
Yeah.
assembly. And today, a large number of members of the assembly, they have gone to the other parties.
Right.
They have gone to Noon League and they have gone to People Party. They have lost their entity, you see, their qualification to remain member of the assembly, but they are still enjoying the privilege, the position and entity as a member of the assembly. So there is lawlessness as well in this.
Sure.
There must be accountability, and for that, you see, you need strong judiciary. You need strong person in the office of ITSA Bureau, you see.
Yeah.
Unless you have that, then you can't move forward.
Sure.
So these are the, you see, suggestions that we must have strong institution of accountability. We must have strong institution of the election commission.
Yeah.
Number 3, whatever you are saying, you are right. I agree with you that unless you have got resources to highlight all these things, what is happening in Azad Kashmir, how we can improve it,
Yes.
how we can bring the support of the international community, you see,
Yeah.
global community, and particularly the latest technology
Sure.
to make awareness, to bring awareness to the people of the Azad Jammu and Kashmir, Kilkit, Baltistan.
Yeah.
And I would suggest that Kilkit and Baltistan should be integrated with Azad Kashmir, you see.
Right.
We should have a common administrative system, common legislative system, common judicial system. And those people should be brought at par in development as well.
Right.
They should be given due share in the civil subsidies as well.
Sure.
So unless we, you see, try to achieve that standard, that status, we can't claim that we have to liberate that part of Jammu and Kashmir state.
True.
In order to liberate that part of Jammu and Kashmir state, and those people, in order to bring them at par with us, you see, we have to take all very drastic measures and
Sure.
very positive measures, not negative measures, positive measures.
Okay.
And we should convey a message to the whole world that in fact our whole struggle is a struggle for freedom of the state of Jammu and Kashmir.
Sure.
It should not be, designed that it's a struggle for something else.
Right.
Purely and simply, it should reflect that it's purely a struggle for the freedom of Jammu and Kashmir people, and they deserve their freedom as Indians, as Pakistanis, as any other free nation deserve their freedom. You see.
Right. Okay. I just thought finally I'll ask you this: how far do you think we are? How long will it take for there to be a genuine citizen-state contract?
Again, you see, it needs awareness among the masses, you see.
Okay.
Unless there's a pressure of the masses on the legislative assembly or the administration, you can't achieve that status, whatever you need, you see, or whatever you want. You see. But I think people have got quite good awareness.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, they are subjugated of their own needs, their own desires to achieve power, you see, to have glamour and all these things.
Yeah.
Comparatively, people of Azad Kashmir, they are quite well aware of the international affairs.
Yeah.
They are quite aware of their own position, their own status. But it's unfortunate that people who are brought at the top, you see,
Yeah.
they don't deserve that. They have no merit.
Sure.
And unless you bring people of merit at the top, who should frame policies, who should administer this area very fairly, and who should take this area forward, you see,
Yeah.
at the level of free nations,
Sure.
we can't move forward.
Okay. Thank you very much. Sir.